Welcome to Rewire Yourself Rich, the podcast for the woman who's done with temporary bullshit mindset shifts and ready for a full nervous system level identity upgrade. The woman who knows she was born to transform the world with her unique superpowers. I'm your host, Kelly Pender, wealth identity rewiring expert, intuitive mentor, and creator of the Rich Coded Method. In our world, we don't manifest like needy ass bitches. We re-encode the big fucking deal wealthy woman back into yourselves. We shift your DNA to remember who the fuck you are. Ready to become rich coded, getting paid to exist? Let's fucking go. Welcome back to another episode of the Rewire Yourself Rich podcast. We have Cynewski on the pod, who is a holistic business coach, and we dive into premium strategy for nervous system mastery and how to create somatic sales. You know, I go deep and I asked all about misconceptions around nervous system, what a regulated nervous system actually means. And girlfriend, it's not just being calm and zen. And Kat guides us through her RISE regulation method so that you can actually do the hard things that business requires, so that we don't just doom scroll, so that we don't get stuck in the idea theories and whatnot, and you actually feel safe to expand and take those big, bold moves, which you know we're all about in the Rich Coded movement. And we are breaking free from hustle patterns and survival responses and running your business in a way that actually feels good for you. And before we dive in, I am so excited to announce the event of the year is here. Rich Coded Live. This is an in-person identity activation for the woman who's meant to be famous and sell five-figure offers on repeat, April 25th in Philadelphia. And I need you to know that this is not a basic boring bitch conference. This is not a panel, and this is not take notes and maybe implement later kind of room. This is the Beyonce stage for the woman who is meant to be famous for her body of work, and we have 2 stages in the room, and I'm only putting a few more women on that stage. This is an intimate, high caliber room for the woman who values close proximity, wants to be surrounded by other women who are selling high ticket and disrupting the industry, leading their way. Bold, savage, big fucking deal energy. This is for you if you know that you're meant to speak on stages, write the book, and be known beyond social media. And this is specifically for the woman who's done hiding behind content and ready to be recognized for her work. You will leave knowing exactly how to sell 5-figure packages on repeat through identity. Right now, we are on pre-sale until December 31st at midnight. Price is going to double for the general admission ticket as well as a VIP ticket. And right now, we only have 4 VIP tickets remaining at this pre-sale price. And VIP is going to be so fucking amazing. It unlocks everything in the GA ticket plus 60-second walk of fame on stage, professionally filmed by our videographer for assets, fame frequency and known positioning. We have a super special VIP lounge stage for your brand photos, red carpet vibes all the way, and a signed copy of the Rich Coded book. DM me the word ticket or head to link in the show notes. Again, pre-sale ends December 31st at midnight. This is the room that is going to change everything for you. And I cannot wait to watch you walk onto that stage to own it. Red carpet, fame frequency, the motherfucking one energy. And without further ado, let's dive into this juicy episode with Kat. Yay, Kat. I'm so excited to have you here. This is going to be incredible. You are the nervous system queen, and we are all about feeling good in our business and not prioritizing the action and the doing. So this conversation is going to be incredible. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited.
Kelly, thank you so much for having me. I know our work is so beautifully aligned and overlaps, and I love just the conversations we've been having in the DM. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, we're going to spill the tea.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so we all know here that it's not that I diss strategy. I love strategy, but I truly only like when strategy is taught from a feeling based, not that
Mm.
masculine, do this, you're not doing enough, you're not worthy. Duh. We're done with that. And so I'd love to dive in your premium strategy, nervous system mastery, because that, like, even the name of that, I'm like, ooh, I'm getting turned on and activated.
Mm.
Tell me more. Spill the tea. I want to hear it all.
Yeah, so basically, what it means to focus on premium strategy and nervous system mastery, and what I teach at a very high level, is really your strategy informs your body and the way that you feel in your nervous system, and your nervous system informs your strategy. So, this is why you can see two people working with a multi eight-figure, business coach who's teaching the same strategy to two people, and you're going side by side at the same time frame, similar experience, whatever, similar audiences. Even you can have so many things that are matching, and one person gets totally different results, is popping off the charts and having 100K cash months, and the other one's like, what the heck, I'm still in 4K cash months, I'm doing all the same things as this person, and why am I not exploding? Why is this not working for me like it is someone else? So the and along with that, not only can the strategy work differently for two different people, which often comes down to, as we know, so many things, but one of the core things is what's happening inside of them and how they're actually taking the actions and from what state. And what I like to say oftentimes is like two of the most essential things you can do in your business is state and sell, shift your state and sell your freaking offers. So that's part of the premium strategy, but really they feed and intertwine into each other. If you have a zillion offers, if you're stuck in the back end trying to build complicated funnels that sucks your magnetism and joy, and you can't stand doing it and it takes you forever, and you feel like that's what you have to do to be successful, and you just keep launching a new low or mid ticket offer, that's going to fry your nervous system. And vice versa, if you are constantly operating in fight or flight, also known as the sympathetic state, and you're under this stress, this survival really response, all of the actions that you take are going to also reflect that. It's not going to feel easeful. It's not going to be as successful. And even if you find some momentum, and I use this analogy often actually to explain this, is imagine yourself in a rowboat with little tiny wooden oars, and you're paddling upstream against the current, and you might make some progress, but you're going to be exhausted. Your arms are going to be really tired. So this is like being in a dysregulated body. You're in that little rowboat and you're working really hard to find momentum, and you're looking back like, I made some progress, but I'm freaking exhausted. And then on the flip side, you're in a yacht and you're like sailing down the bay. The sun is shining on you. Your bikini looks the best that it's ever looked on your body. You're chilling with oysters and champagne or sparkling water if you're me. And people are just being magnetized to you, and they're like, oh my God, can I come explore this boat? This is the most gorgeous yacht I've ever seen. This is like when you're regulated and your body's working with you, you can get further faster. And the strategy, that premium strategy, is like the navigation system. So if you're on that rowboat and you have the fanciest, best navigation system, AKA strategy, premium strategy, but you're in the rowboat, you're still not going to make much progress, and you're still going to be exhausted when you get there. So you'll know where you need to go, but the boat isn't getting you there very efficiently. But if you're in the yacht and you have, let's say, a paper mat, you might be doing circles, but you could still get further faster even with the yacht and a terrible navigation system. But if you have the best navigation system paired with the yacht, it's just game over, right? That's like having your body on board, being regulated, and having the premium strategy that allows that momentum to compound.
That's amazing. That feels good when you share that. I'm like, yes, this is what we need. And
Mm.
so I know that our listeners are like, okay, so if I'm the rowboat right now, how do I become the yacht? Because
Oh
we
my God, yeah.
see all over social media, regulate your nervous system, regulate your
Mm.
nervous system. We know that, but what does that actually mean? Because there's so many misconceptions around this, and there is some false information, right? So I'd love to hear from you what regulated actually means.
Mm, that's such a real question, right? Everyone's talking about like, this is going to regulate your nervous system, or you just need to be regulated. And it's like, yeah, that sounds great. But does that mean going and getting a massage every month? Does that mean, and I taught yoga for 12 years, as we talked about before. And I had this like wake up moment about a year ago, was I was like, oh my God, I've been doing yoga for 12 years. I teach yoga. I've done over 700 hours of training, and I'm still like living in a survival response a lot of the time. And it's like these very subtle hustle patterns, these very subtle survival responses that most high achieving women, especially the high achieving women that are getting such incredible results already, they're running these patterns subconsciously below the surface, and they have no idea that they're even operating in constant sympathetic energy. So when you're in sympathetic, aka fight or flight, which is what most people call it, and what you probably, many of your listeners are probably familiar with, is that fight or flight energy. A lot of people think fight or flight means that you're like in full panic. You're spiraling, you're like sweating. And I think of this when I'm stepping on stage, because any human being, I don't care how much you can put it on, you can create an incredible speech, you can move the room, all of the things, your heart is still pounding, right? You're still like, holy shit, I gotta expel some of this energy. I have to mobilize this energy. And that's what it means. So when we're in a survival response of fight or flight or sympathetic energy, our body totally shifts. So you can see this in many ways. If you think about working, your shoulders can come up by your ears. Your eyes might be wider, where you're kind of looking for a solution. Your mind is racing with things like, what do I need to do next? What is going to move the needle? You're always looking for the next thing. You're not very present. You're really living in a future. You find these kind of anxious thoughts happening, but they can be quite subtle, and it can be disguised as just motivated, like just motivation or just achieving or being successful. And that's really the issue that I see, is people are noticing this pop up in different ways. And I typically see women who run more sympathetic, more in the fight or flight, where they're pushed, do, achieve, and they've been taught from a young age, something has happened in their life where they've interpreted something a certain way, that equals safety. Doing more is safe. Doing more is kind of a coping mechanism. And so when we look at the nervous system, we have these different coping mechanisms, and most of us try to change the coping mechanism. So that's like scrolling on Instagram and getting stuck in a hole when you actually want to create and use your voice, but something's pinging, it's not safe to use your voice, or you don't know enough, or whatever, that's running like behind the scenes that you're probably not even aware of. And so you end up scrolling, and then after 2 hours, you're like, oh, now I have this call to jump on. I didn't even make the damn post. Like, why'd I do this again? Something like that. And then you're not making the progress that you could be making, but it's not actually it's not actually the scrolling that's the problem. It's a trigger that happened. Most people miss these triggers. So it's a feeling or a response in the body that happened. And then it's this habitual pattern that you're doing to soothe that trigger. And this is why so much of our patterns, and this is the beauty of neuroplasticity, I know you work with neuroscience, is that we get to pave new paths, but our brains are built for efficiency, right? So if we've done something before, or in the past, even especially many times, that has created that relief, that soothing, that's going to be our default, and it's going to be so much harder to catch. So the method that I teach, the Rise Regulation method, is number one is all about recognizing the trigger and being able to get more in tune with your body, because these can be subtle shifts with your body. And this is what I call somatic awareness. And so in the psychosomatic work that I do, it is deep, slow, gentle work that allows you to tap into the subconscious and be able to be aware of, whoa, what's happening in my body? Okay, my heart is starting to race. I'm starting to, have these thoughts come in that are looping. I'm starting to get tension in my neck and my shoulders. this could show up totally different in 10 different people, right? But you start to spot your unique patterns. And until we can recognize those patterns, we can't even get to the things that interrupt those patterns, that shift those patterns, that allow us to embody new ways of being, which is the rest of the rise method. We can't even get to those steps because most people are operating, and like how much of our daily thoughts, actions, behaviors are subconscious and we're not even aware of. 90, what is it, 95%, high 90s.
Yeah.
So until we can stop and recognize them and notice what's happening, notice the triggers that are coming, notice our unique natural coping mechanism, whether that's procrastination, whether that's to just push, whether that's to go launch a new low ticket offer because you're not holding the discomfort or maybe that deep-seated feeling of rejection of people not flooding your $25,000 offer. So you go and launch another $30 challenge and think that that will solve the problem, right? So these are coping mechanisms that are soothing part of us that's been triggered and that feels like it's fighting for its life because our body does not know the difference. We've probably heard this, but between getting chased by a tiger and feeling this deep-seated sense of unworthiness when someone says no to your offer.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought forward rejection because this is such an underlying emotional trigger that we're all terrified of feeling. And I know that this is why so many of us will not, and it takes some time for them to raise their prices. And this is why so many of us don't own our high ticket offers and keep like launching these, $27, $33, whatever offers instead of going all in on the high ticket because it doesn't feel safe. And I also love how you said slow and deep because I'm like, yes, there is this conception or like idea that so many women have where it's like, let me just join this thing so that it saves me so I can have instant results. And it's like, you will have instant results when you sit in the spaciousness of the discomfort that's required.
Yes. Yes. And most people have a very hard time with doing that. It comes back to our culture, our society rewards work hard for your results. And so sitting in the discomfort, being still with the discomfort isn't what our society has trained us and ingrained those deep grooves in our brains and our bodies that equals safety, that equals success. And so it's so much about rewiring those patterns and those beliefs as well.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite conversations. And I want to talk about high ticket sales and really allowing that to land in your body and take ownership. And we were talking about that before we hit record. So I'd love to hear for those where it's like, how is this person who's in the same program as me or the same field as me having 100K months and I'm here having 2K, 4K, 7K? Like, I'd love to hear from you because this is my favorite part of the work is getting your nervous system on board with selling high ticket and your monthly recurring revenue as well.
Yeah, so those are two of the core strategies that I teach, which is high ticket, long term, one to many, or at least an offer that you're known for that's high ticket, and building, stacking monthly recurring revenue. Because as we chatted a little bit, like you said before, of when you have 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 that's already coming in every single month before you even start the month, that is a much different feeling than I'm at zero again. How am I going to make money this month? How am I going to close another sale? And that plays into this safety. It can, this is nuanced as well as always, because some people that have these deep patterns, it doesn't matter how much money is coming in, right? So these play off of each other. Again, like I was saying, is you may need to focus more strictly on what's happening in the body, even when the results are there. But if you have two people, this is kind of an example of what could be happening with these two people. So say both of these people, one, they both launch these $20,000 year-long offers. Let's just say that. They have $20,000 year-long offers. Doesn't matter. I don't care what niche. Like pick a niche. It doesn't matter. I've had clients that are like in breath work and health coaching and wellness coaching and, all these different areas that at first they're like, oh, you can charge that because, you're a business coach based in the US, but I could never charge that. My community would never buy that. I'm here, you're there, I'm a different field. And then give it a few months, a year, and they're charging those rates and signing the most dreamiest clients. So it doesn't matter, like pick a field, but let's say a breathwork facilitator. Let's say a breathwork facilitator and life coach. And there's two of these exact similar niche. Everybody has their own unique, but similar niches. And they have $20,000 offers, let's say. Let's look at one who feels safe in their body. Their body's on board with this strategy. They're creating content. Creativity is flowing. One of the main things that gets zapped when you're dysregulated is your creativity. And actually the part of your brain that processes and creates logical thinking totally goes offline when you're dysregulated because you're just trying to survive and the energy is moving to your limbs to be mobilized to fight off a threat or run from it, right? So naturally, the person who feels safer in their body, they're excited, they feel they're fully on board with this, they're going to be more connected. So they're going to build deeper relationships. They're going to naturally be more magnetic because they're emitting this energy that's more safe. Like one of the things that shows someone is in this ventral vagal, this regulated state, they might like tilt their head to the side and smile. And that's showing that they feel safe. They feel connected because when you don't feel safe, connection is not a priority. So how big are relationships in our business?
Very.
Right? If you really struggle to hold conversations, to connect with people, to build real relationships, that is going to make growing your business extremely hard. If you are not able to think creativity, if you're not able to tap into creativity and innovation, how important is that for your business?
Very.
Very important. So if you're sitting there scrolling because you have nothing on your mind and you're like, oh, I need to pull something that will convert. I need to make this work. Let me follow this framework. And you plug it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT spits something out. You copy and paste it. It sounds like everything else that everyone is seeing everywhere else. You're not building real relationships. You're not having new innovative ideas. You're feeling like you're already exhausted and you couldn't possibly launch another masterclass or nurture, provide value, or create a podcast episode. Your actions are still going to be a lot different, even though it looks like you're following the same strategy. And what I hear often, and actually what someone just said is like, wow, I recently recorded my last podcast episode was doing like a year in review. And she was like, I can't believe how much you've done in the last year with a toddler working during nap times. Like, what? She's like, you've done way more than me and I'm single and don't have any kids. Like, how did you do this? And I'm like, because when you're tapped in to this regulated to your nourished place, you're more creative, you're more efficient, you solve problems faster, you make decisions faster, you're not spiraling, you can actually hear your intuition, actually be guided. You're not stuck in these cycles of this way or that way. Post it like this or post it like that. You're going download, move, download, move. And I know you resonate with that because we were talking about the book.
Yes. Yes.
So that's one of the core ways is it looks like you're taking the same action, but really you're not. And it's not just, oh, one's magnetic and vibrating. Like, yeah, I do believe that. But it's also like the real action you're taking, you cannot say is the same. You may launch, you may put out offers, you may write content, but it doesn't mean that is actually the same that's happening behind the scenes on a daily basis, not just on Instagram.
I'm so happy you said that. And it's so, to me, that's like the best compliment to hear when someone's like, how are you making all these big, bold ass moves when you have a baby and you're working during nap time? And it's like,
and you're still chill and you're
Yeah.
not stressed. You're like relaxed and having fun.
And that's
Yeah.
the dream. And it's like, guys, it doesn't need to be a dream. It gets to be your reality. Like,
Mm,
regulate your motherfucking nervous system. That is the
yeah,
key, right? And
totally.
beyond what you see on social media, right? Like in your body of work. This is so
Yeah.
important. And truly, it's what allows us to make these bold moves that
Mm,
most people would be too afraid to make.
totally. And I love what you said too, is part of regulating your nervous system, like there's this theory called hormesis. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it can apply to basically when you're stretching your tolerance. So when you're enough uncomfortable that it doesn't spiral you, but you stress your body enough, that's how you grow and expand. So I think it's important also to realize this doesn't mean just like doing all the moves that feel good and juicy and easy. It's good to go into that sympathetic like surge of ooh, but the important thing is you're able to come back down and you're not stuck there constantly running. And a lot of people do get stuck there, constantly pushing, proving, running instead of being able to use it, tap into it when it's beneficial, and then returning to safety.
Returning to safety and teaching your body it's safe to sell high ticket. It's
Mm,
safe to massively 10x your business, not just
yeah.
like small increments. That's okay. Like massively 10x and define
Mm,
safety in that in your body first so that it can actually land and be your reality.
yeah. And not do it once or twice and then keep sliding back to your base down, but continue to expand. And so much of that process is the repetition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how you expand. You keep doing it. You keep, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if you're shaking when you're giving the, multi five figure investment to somebody, you keep leaning in.
Yeah.
You keep actually, and you use the tools to bring your body back down to safety. So you're teaching yourself, oh, wait, this is actually safe. It's not just thinking, oh, you're fine. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. It's not that scary. Just do it. Like that's worked for everyone, right?
Yeah. No, it goes beyond just the affirmations and the lip service and like the trying
Yeah.
to convince yourself it's fine when it doesn't feel fine. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it feels safe.
Mm,
And you normalize that expansion. You normalize that edge.
right. And everyone's on their own timeline, right? And I think that's important too, is like the timeline for you to feel safe in that and to expand and pop off might be much different than somebody else's timeline, depending on their whole life lived experience up until this point.
Yes, that is so important. And we tell everyone here to stop using time as a limitation.
Mm, yeah. It's a matter of if, not when, right?
I
Yeah.
love this.
Wait. Yeah. I say that right? I'm like, wait, no. Did I say that backwards? It's going to happen. The time is the only variable.
Yeah, it landed for me and all of us. I love this. I could talk to you all day. This is so good. This is the missing piece, everyone. Please let this land. This is amazing. Tell us how we can work with you, where we can find you, all of the things.
Instagram is really the best place at Kat Cynewski, and hopefully you'll link it because that's a doozy to spell and find. And my website is just katcynewski.com. I have a 3-day, actually a live in-person conference coming to Portland, Maine in April. So that is all focused on going deep in this work into the nervous system mastery and the premium strategy. So that is a beautiful place. As you know, I'm currently writing a book as well. TBD on when that's coming. And then my core mastermind is called the Flourish Mastermind, but really Instagram's the best place to connect and definitely say hi. I always love to meet you and chat.
I love this. We will put that in the show notes. Kat, thank you for your wisdom, your medicine. This is so needed. And I loved, love, love this conversation and having you on the show.
Thank you, Kelly. It's been so amazing. Thank you for having me on.
If you loved this episode as much as I did, please take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram so I can share you and your incredible body of work to my network and celebrate you. And as a special abundance gift, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Take a screenshot, send it to me on Instagram, and I'll send you my sexy sales hypnosis to rewire yourself rich in your sleep.